Now it's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel. And I have to tell you, my favorite post-debate moment last night was when we got you on the air in our coverage and Brian asked you, how did you think it went? And what I thought I was watching was someone asking a boxer after 15 rounds, how do you think it went? And the person who in that stadium who knows the least about how it went is the boxer, because they're just in too close.
Exactly. I was like, oh, sure,
Yeah.
I can talk about that.
Right.
Just give me a second and 3 beers. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I had no ability to comment on what I had just been through.
Well, this is what I loved about the last hour, because I was dying to see what it was like for you once you could digest it and once you could actually put it together like this. And I was absolutely certain that where you were sitting last night in real time was the worst place to be to try to figure that out.
The thing is, like, going back to the transcript today to pull these clips, I'm like, I remember all of these things happening, but watching the tape again in order to sort of confirm my shaky memories about what was happening, you know. But it's the reason I wanted to go through the debate this way is that the thing that resonated for me is that I do feel like I learned something about every single one of these candidates. I did get to hear them all in their own words talking about the thing they most wanted to talk about, and every single one of them had at least one good moment. And I think that's sort of incredible for 20 candidates over 4 hours, that everybody had something that they can build on, bank on, take to donors, take to voters, and try to use to get into the next debate. I definitely didn't expect that. I certainly expected some people to wash out or just be basically completely upset about the process at this point. But everybody had a moment, at least one.
Yeah, and my favorite tweet that I've seen, that I hope we can print it so that I can use it in this hour, was someone in my Twitter feed saying that, you know, he went into the debate's not so sure. He came out of it thinking he really likes Senator Warren, really likes Senator Harris. Those are his 2 favorites. Really grateful to Bernie Sanders for pushing the agenda in the direction it has gone over the last 4 years. And what I found interesting about it is he came out of the debate with 2 favorites. And that, I think, is a very common reaction that I'm getting from a bunch of people, is that they decided that they weren't going to have to pick one person, and they've actually now come out with 2 or a handful. And it's not the same ones they went into the debate with.
And it's ones who they were looking forward to see campaign in future events, and they're looking forward to seeing them side by side at future debates because they want to see how they interact and how they contend with one another. I mean, I think that Democrats have now sized up the field. The field is now going to compete with itself for a long time, and I think everybody on the stage did something to make their own case for why they should be in that competition. It just, I don't feel like this is a, you know, kid gloves thing. I don't feel like they're all being nice to each other. That's not happening. They are starting to fight with each other, but they're all still showing their stripes. And I mean, I'm exhausted and totally fried, but I think this is an exciting part of the primary.
Great job, Rachel. You have earned your weekend.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you. There she goes. The nap starts now.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.